What's up, XFL Nation? Back with another news update. Will a merged XFL-USFL league opt for 6 hub cities? Here's what we know. So late Friday, Neil Stratton from inside the league dropped some interesting tidbits in his newsletter that stirred the debate of the XFL-USFL merger, stirred the pot once again. So Stratton is hearing that the USFL-XFL merged league may forego home cities for each team and instead opt for 6 hub locations. Now, why does this have any weight? Well, given Stratton's connection with the pro football scouting community and partnership with the XFL, if you remember back that they had a partnership and there's been, they've had meetings, online meetings with other scouts from personnel from the XFL, as well as part of the his inside the league organization. So it carries some weight. However, the idea has been met with skepticism, particularly considering the existence of infrastructure in places like Arlington. The Arlington Hub is a source of great strength for the XFL in 2023. So that's why we kind of looked at this and was like, really? Would they do that? So although his insider information has been reliable, it's important to question the latest piece of news. See, the infrastructure was already in place like Arlington, and that move to hubs would be more complicated and expensive, not less money. And this is what they're trying to do, is to save money. So my point is that everybody can play in Arlington and they can still ship people out to all these different venues. The problem with hubs is that you have to have insurance, you have to have all the legal documents and permits and equipment and training staff. So you're going to tell me you're going to put all these places in 6 different locations? It makes no sense. Partly that's why I feel either this was kind of a trial balloon floated by the league to gain maybe to gauge fans' reaction to it. But I really think this might be old news from maybe when they first started initially having conversations. Because to me, this makes no sense whatsoever. The 6 hubs, you're going to have the same product as the USFL did, rather than just having everybody in Arlington where it worked. They have a world-class training facility in Arlington. They put money in Arlington, and you have a great relationship with Texas and the area. Having maybe because of other agreements that they have to fulfill is a reason why, but it just didn't really make much sense. So if Stratton information turns out to be accurate, we might see a split of hubs between 2 leagues. So here's Canton, Detroit, and Birmingham for the USFL, Arlington, St. Louis, and possibly San Antonio for the XFL. So what he had said was he speculated that hub cities could include Detroit, Canton, and St. Louis. That was what was said in the newsletter. So I kind of put together Detroit, Canton, and of course Birmingham would be one of them. We recently know Royce Johnson reported this week that members of the BJCC, Birmingham something whatever, were told that the Birmingham Stallions will be back in this new league in 2024, but it wasn't said that they would actually play, or that they would be returning to the league, but it didn't say that this would be a hub. I mean, they said, the quote from the thing says they said that they look forward to continuing their relationship with us as it's been in the past. That was the quote from Royce Johnson's article, and we assume that means that they will play in 2024, but Stratton's report only mentions Detroit, Canton, and not Birmingham. So the idea was, well, they said, yeah, we're going to continue our relationship, and the Birmingham Stallions are still going to play in the league, but are they actually going to play in Birmingham? That question was not asked or responded to in that article. And that's kind of a nuance. So we've heard from sources in this past season, by the way, that Protective Stadium is, let's just say, less ideal on many fronts. I know people who have been to the games out there have just basically, multiple people said that it's not the best stadium situation, and wouldn't be surprised if the XFL side of things maybe didn't want to have a team in Birmingham because of the stadium situation, even though the stadium is brand spanking new pretty much. And the area around it and whatever. That's kind of what we heard over the past year when it comes to Protective Stadium. I've never been there at that stadium yet. Also, when it comes to this story, is the MLS stadium conundrum. So some within management, we've heard from sources, have an aversion. They're not really down with using MLS stadiums, which I don't understand why, which successful hosted XFL games in the past, this further complicates the situation. So such venues are perfectly suited for the merged league, especially considering the size and infrastructure. An April league start date could conflict with MLS and NWSL schedules. That's the Women's Soccer League in Seattle, and of course the DC United in DC, giving some weight to this whole hub city theory that maybe that's why DC's name has been left out of the hub. So I kind of put together, I said, okay, if you're going to have 6 hub cities, Detroit, Canton, Birmingham, we assume, because the USFL has its home base in Birmingham. Arlington, it would be completely bonkers that they wouldn't be in Arlington. St. Louis, they did have some infrastructure there in the past in XFL 2020. And then also, and I was thinking you have to stay in Texas, so maybe San Antonio would be another one. Houston, we know, is in limbo between the Gamblers franchise and then the Roughnecks being in the same pot. How can they move that around? So I'm just not feeling like this is actually a thing. And if anything, I think it might have been something that was early on discussed, but I would just be really shocked that you're going to put a product on and showing empty seats. That was the biggest knock of the USFL, was having empty seats and having this kind of, could you imagine, all right, let's say DC is a hub, or maybe they were going to have 3 hubs, but they're still going to play in their home locations. That also is going to make it more expensive. Like, you were merging together to save money. That seems, but again, all of this boils down to lawyers, basically. Lawyers, legal agreements, you don't know what's in place. You assume if they were written right, I mean, this is a spring football league that spring football has never worked past 3 years. There's got to be outs. I mean, but maybe that's how kind of the XFL kind of got out of agreements, because they declared bankruptcy. So I don't know how they're going to get out of this stuff. So that could be a reason why. But I just have the sneaky suspicion that this is more of something that might have been early on discussed. I mean, they still could do the hub cities, but only one team practices there rather than the teams practice there. But it just seems the expenses, you're trying to save money. This whole thing has been to save money. So we'll see. So Stratton Reports definitely brings an interesting twist to everything that we've heard about this merged league, and of course, many questions unanswered. Let us know what you think in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel to stay up to date. Hit that notification bell. Stay up to date on all the latest XFL news as it breaks. Subscribe, and thanks for watching.